Understanding Stress Part 2. The chemistry of stress. The human nervous system is divided into the central nervous system, CNS, and autonomic nervous system, ANS. The latter one plays a vital role in the chemistry of stress. The ANS has control over the visceral functions in our body, the hypothalamus, the spinal cord, and the brainstem. The ANS is further divided into two major systems, the sympathetic nervous system, SNS, and parasympathetic nervous system, PNS. If the SNS is a spendthrift of all the physical resources at the time of emergency, the PNS is a replenisher of these resources and normalizes bodily functions after the emergency is over. These two opposite systems are responsible for the maintenance of body balance. The restoration of body balance through the intervention of PNS is known as homeostasis. If the body balance is not restored by homeostasis and medication has to be resorted to, then the process is known as heterostasis. The role SNS plays. At the onset of environmental or emotional stress, it is the SNS, which takes the function of activating the pituitary gland, the master gland that in turn causes the release of a large number of hormones including adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH, and prolactin. It also agitates the other endocrine glands in the following ways. The pineal gland is affected by physical stressor such as extreme changes in temperature, acute starvation, chronic malnutrition, constant noise. The adrenal gland is stimulated during stress so much so its primary secretion, adrenaline, is called the stress hormone. The thyroid gland is extremely sensitive to the environmental stress and undergoes structural reorganization. The SNS causes the discharge of adrenaline and noradrenaline. It also exerts active influence over the endocrine functions, which in turn undergo massive change during stress. Two main SNS functions are adrenocortical response. Stress causes increased activity in the limbic system, which in turn activates the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus impulses reach the adrenal cortex and increase secretion of cortisol. This released cortisol into the bloodstream helps rapid mobilization of amino acid and fats from cellular reserves for instant use by various body tissues. Adrenomedullary response. This stimulates the secretion of adrenaline into the systematic circulation, thereby causing widespread action in the body. The mass discharge of SNS permits an individual to engage in more strenuous physical activities than would otherwise be possible. In 1980, on a cool evening in Chandigarh, my family and I were taking a stroll along a beautiful road in Sector 32. Suddenly, my 4-year-old son crossed the road chasing a squirrel. At that very moment, I noticed a car racing towards him. At the sight of it, my first reaction was that of helplessness, my legs grew weak, and my mind went blank. In a fraction, all changed. Laying a bid to save my son. I sprinted after him and whisked him away to safety with the swiftness I could have never dreamt of. I was tensed initially and within a split second reacted, putting my life in danger, which normal situation we hesitate to do. I had run fast enough to beat the fast-moving thanks to the SNS. The essential fight or flight response is Mother Nature's way of protecting us from danger. This innate and automatic response is characterized by the following changes in our body. As soon as the brain registers danger, adrenaline is released into our body, bringing about several physical changes. The pupils of our eyes dilate to allow more light in and sharpen our vision. In times of perceived danger, we need to see as much as we can. Our mouth goes dry to avoid adding fluid to our stomach. Our digestion stops temporarily, allowing more blood to be directed to the muscles and the brain. This explains why in times of stress we experience butterflies in our stomach. Our neck and shoulder muscles tense up in order to prepare for action. Tense muscles are more resilient to blows than relaxed muscles. Our breathing quickens to allow an increased flow of oxygen to our muscles. Our heart beats faster and our blood pressure rises, thereby providing fuel and oxygen to the various parts of the body. Increased blood pressure flow to activate muscles with a concurrent decrease in flow to organs like the gastrointestinal tract and the kidneys, as they are not needed for motor activity. Our perspiration increases in order to cool the body down. The more energy the body burns, the more we perspire. Our liver releases glucose to provide a quick burst of energy for the muscles. Our spleen releases its stored blood cells and chemicals into the bloodstream to thicken the blood. This process allows the blood to clot more rapidly than usual, so that if injury should occur, the bleeding will stop more quickly. Moreover, the body becomes more resistant to infection.